Imagine sitting down with your kids talking about a time where koalas could be seen in other places than just picture books and on TV, or about a time when climate change was viewed as a future issue and not a present one. Well, you might not have to imagine this due to deforestation becoming a bigger and bigger issue with no one trying to fix it. Deforestation is one of the biggest issues that is ignored that is not only affecting people but animals worldwide.
With habitats being destroyed and climate change becoming a more pressing issue, deforestation is something that cannot be ignored anymore. According to Inside Climate News, a website dedicated to informing the public about the state of climate change, 5 years after joining in a historic commitment to stop cutting the world's forests, governments and companies are not only failing to slow deforestation, they are rapidly driving the disappearance of more trees. If this behavior is not turned around in the next few years, we could be facing unchangeable damage to our ecosystems and climate.
Almost all the specialists that are doing research for deforestation are saying how big of an issue it is and how it's ignored but needs to be stopped. Raising the world's forests would release more than 3 trillion tons of carbon dioxide, more than the amount locked in identified global reserves for oil, coal, and gas. By protecting and restoring forests, the world would achieve 18% of the emissions mitigation needed by 2030 to avoid runaway climate change, a group of 40 scientists spanning 5 different countries said. Deborah Lawrence from University of Virginia also says, "It breaks my heart to think that we'd lose half of our tropical forests for plantations just to save ourselves. It's horrifying that we lose our biodiversity to avert climate change. Losing tropical forests is not somehow cheaper than putting up wind farms in the US or Sahara." These 2 pieces of evidence show that scientists see how big of an issue it is and have evidence to back that up, and they're trying to stop it. But with the lack of awareness that's brought to this issue, people are showing no empathy, and it makes stopping deforestation impossible.
Greta Thunberg, a well-known climate change activist who has sparked many peaceful protests around the world, stated in an interview for The Guardian, "The protection and restoration of living ecosystems such as forests, mangroves, and seagrass meadows can repair the planet's broken climate, but are being overlooked." Greta is a teenager with no political affiliation and no professional connection to climate scientists. However, she is proven to be well educated on the subject and speaks for everyone committed to the movement. She also states in the same interview, "Natural climate solutions could remove huge amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere as plants grow, but these methods only receive 2% of the funding spent on cutting emissions." The community agrees. Deforestation is something that is actively contributing to climate change, but if more governments, companies, and officials choose to focus on stopping this trend, it could be a huge step forward towards limiting emissions. A quote from another article from BBC News states, "Halting deforestation and restoring tropical forests cannot be achieved while zero deforestation commitments continue to be dishonored." This is another common argument from the community of people protesting climate change and deforestation. Although there are agreements like the Paris Treaty that were made to limit emissions and halt deforestation, they are not being honored. Companies are blatantly ignoring these treaties and agreements in order to make profit at the rate that they are. If this continues, there will be more CO2 emissions and deforestation will wipe out more forests and ecosystems.
As a whole world, there will be many challenges that humans will face by ignoring deforestation. The first big issue that we will face is if we keep ignoring this issue, there will be huge amounts of habitat loss for animals that live in the forest. Some of these animals can actually be very dangerous to human lives, and while they try to find new habitats they can adapt to. So this was said by National Geographic, and one of these animals is the Sumatran tiger, and we need to be worried about this because if an animal were to run out of food or loses its habitat, it may actually venture into human-infested cities and neighborhoods, which, if the animal is dangerous enough, can harm humans and even kill them. The other big problem that humans face by ignoring this issue is climate change. If we lose forests, we lose the fight against climate change, said more than 300 scientists, conservation groups, religious leaders, and others in order to fight deforestation that occurred in Bali. Climate change affects humans in many ways. There will be more droughts, heat waves, stronger hurricanes, ice-free Arctics, compromise agriculture, and increase precipitation patterns, according to NASA. These two issues are predicted to occur if we do not stop deforestation.
One way that every individual can help halt deforestation and climate change is by limiting the use of palm oil in your daily life. Palm oil is produced in Malaysia and Indonesia, and it's mainly used for cooking and helping to aid some conditions such as high blood pressure and cholesterol. However, there is a dark side to the production of this product. According to the report, The Last Stand of the Orangutan, State of Emergency, Illegal Logging, Fire, and Palm Oil in Indonesia's National Parks, palm oil plantations are currently the leading cause of rainforest destruction in Malaysia and Indonesia. Palm oil needs high humidity and temperatures in order to be produced, so a lot of land and plantations have been built in the place of forestry. These plantations cover about 9 million hectares, which is roughly the size of the state of Maine. However, it's already projected to expand to 26 million hectares by 2025. By limiting the public's use of this product, there won't be a need for more of these plantations and for more of these rainforests to be destroyed.
The opposing side may say, one of the main reasons that these forests are being cut down is to make room for expansion. With all these free areas that are being created from deforestation, things like economy-stimulating businesses and improved road systems can be built. With 10 billion people expected to be on planet by 2050 and the never-ending growth explosion in sight, space has become more of a premium necessity on Earth. Another reason would be more materials. One may say that deforestation is good is because it gives more materials that are needed. All of the trees are being cut down to be used for producing lumber and other types of wood products. This lumber can be used for houses, furniture, packaging, paper, tools, and a lot more everyday items that people use. More homes, jobs, and food are also in the question of why deforestation is good. If we think of it, wide parts of forests around the world are left unused, which could instead be converted into some more beneficial agriculture sites, which can help feed hundreds of or even thousands of people who are starving. A few parts of these lush lands can also be used to make great infrastructures that will help economies boom, hence assisting all of the people living in them economically as well. When a certain forested area is cleared, more people can then settle down and establish a farm, plantation, or an industry sector that can help keep income flowing. Developments in crop technologies have resulted in huge volumes of farming yields over the last 2 decades, but it's speculated that this may not be sufficient in the next 2 decades. Fortunately, deforestation can provide enough space to produce enough food for more than 10 billion people who will be hungry in the near future. Also, animal grazing is a big reason. Lastly, deforestation is helping with animal grazing. Animal grazing is one good way to make deforestation highly useful. With this method, it can be easier for people to find possibly unknown animals or animals that are extinct within the virgin forest, well, that are thought to be extinct but actually aren't. This will provide the chance for us to propagate them for the better. With deforestation, there's a lot of benefits and disadvantages, but there is more bad than there is good. Thank you.